You may not realize it yet, but every day, with every word you say, every action you take, you are sending a message. Not just to the people around you, but to yourself. You are the gatekeeper, the one who decides who gets in and who stays out. You teach people how to treat you. Think about the last time you said yes, when your heart screamed no. The last time you smiled through discomfort, pretending everything was okay when it wasn't. The last time you stayed silent when someone crossed a line. In that moment, whether you noticed or not, you handed out an invitation. You said, "This is okay. You can cross this line. You can ignore me." And the world listens. Imagine a gate strong, tall, and clear. A gate that says, "This is my space. This is where I stand." Now imagine that gate left wide open. No lock, no fence, no sign. That's what happens when you don't set your boundaries. Maybe you've been there. You've let people walk over you because you didn't want to make waves. You said yes to favors you didn't have time for. You stayed late at work to avoid conflict. You let friends cancel plans repeatedly without speaking up. People don't wake up one day wanting to disrespect you. They test. They push. They probe for weakness. And if they find none, they come back again and again. You might sit there, confused and hurt, wondering, why do they keep doing this to me? Don't they see my value? But here's the truth. It's not about your value. It's about the message you send. You didn't make it clear that your worth demands respect. You might think being agreeable makes you lovable. You might think sacrificing your needs, shrinking yourself to keep the peace makes you better. But what it really does is make you invisible. It drains your energy. It builds resentment deep inside. It leaves you feeling exhausted, alone, and taken for granted. You were never made to disappear. You were made to stand tall, to own your space, to speak your truth. Saying no, it's one of the hardest things to do. It takes courage, clarity, and self-love. But saying no doesn't mean you're fighting. It doesn't mean you're being difficult or unkind. It means you know your worth so clearly that you don't allow anything less than respect. When you say no, you close the gate on disrespect. You protect your peace. You honor yourself. Maybe you're afraid you'll lose friends. Maybe you worry you'll be seen as selfish or harsh. But here's what really happens. Some people will respect your boundaries and step back quietly. They will admire your courage, even if they don't say it. Others may push back with anger or frustration. They might accuse you of being too much or changed. That's okay. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Yours is to hold your ground, to honor yourself, even when it makes others uncomfortable. When you say no, you aren't closing doors, you're opening the right ones. When you become the gatekeeper of your own life, something amazing happens. You attract the right people, those who value your strength, those who lift you up instead of dragging you down, those who want to add to your life, not take from it. Think of it like a magnet. When your boundaries are clear, you draw in people who match your energy. You don't have to beg for respect, it naturally comes to you. Walk into a room owning your worth and watch the energy change. You don't have to shout. You don't have to prove yourself. You simply stand in who you are. And that alone speaks louder than any words. Maybe you'll notice some people drift away. That's part of the process. And it's okay. Because those who truly belong in your life won't be threatened by your strength. They will celebrate it. Let's talk about silence. Every time you stay quiet when someone crosses the line, you give them permission. Permission to do it again and again. Silence isn't strength. It's self-abandonment. Maybe you don't want to cause a problem. Maybe you want to keep the peace. But what's the cost of that peace? Is it your dignity? Your mental peace? Your self-worth? If it is, then the price is far too high. You have a voice. That voice wasn't given to you to stay quiet. It was given to speak your truth. Speak up. Say enough. Because if you don't, you'll stay trapped in a cycle of invisibility, feeling small, ignored, like your presence doesn't matter. But it does. Your voice matters. Now, kindness. Kindness doesn't mean you're weak. You can be soft-spoken and still firm. You can have empathy and still say no. Think of kindness like a fortress, warm and open, but fiercely protected. Kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. Some people will take advantage of your kindness, and they will keep doing it as long as you let them. You don't have to carry everyone else's burdens at the cost of your own peace. You can be generous and still demand respect. Remember, being kind is a strength, but being kind without limits is giving away your power. You may feel tired, not because you've done too much, but because you've allowed too much. You've smiled through too many insults. You've tolerated too many one-sided relationships. But it's time to stop. You don't owe anyone endless access to you just because you have a kind heart. That's not kindness. That's poor boundaries. If you don't fix it, it will break you. Protect your peace like it's sacred because it is. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to stand tall in your truth, even if it makes you look mean to those who benefited from your silence. That's not mean. That's growth. That's maturity. That's you stepping into power, grounded in self-respect. You were born to own your space, to speak your truth, to demand respect, not with ego, but with love for yourself. Stop shrinking. Stand tall. The world will follow your lead. If my message stirred something inside you, a thought, a feeling, a spark, I invite you to subscribe and join this journey of self-respect and growth. Because here, we learn to stand taller, speak clearer, and live fuller together.